Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another lecture with Sensei Albright. Um, so, I wanted to do some housekeeping for this lecture. You notice the topic is something that we've covered a bit of in the past. So the topic will take sort of a backseat to the other things that we're doing. So for lecture 6, I want to focus a little bit on responding to some of the feedback that I've gotten from you all. I noticed that a lot of you had questions about the IMRED, and I've given you a lot of the information that you need. You should focus less on getting 15 actual pages and more on making sure that the paper does what it needs to do, right? So if your topic requires that you explore a certain set of things, right? Explore that certain set of things, and when you're done, you're done. Now, this is not to say that your paper won't end up at 15 pages. It should, right? But that shouldn't be a scary number or a number that seems unachievable. It's just that's about the length that it should end up being. So if it ends up being 13 pages or 17 pages, I wouldn't worry too much about it. It's just really something to shoot for number. So the IMRED report is due at the end of this week. I'll be getting some grading done this week and be able to get you back some of those grades. Generally speaking, your grades are not something that you'll need to worry about in this class. As long as you're doing the work, you're going to get the grades, basically. I have noticed that on average, people watch these videos about halfway through. There were some Easter eggs in the last one that nobody seemed to mention in their responses. And then also YouTube gives me a recording or a report on how long people are watching the videos. So I can't help feeling that some of your questions might have been answered had you watched the video all the way through. So make sure that you're doing that thoroughly. Make sure you're going over the resources thoroughly. And if you still have questions after that, then I'm surely available for you via email, as I have been for a lot of you. There are also other videos on YouTube about the IMRAD genre. It's not a secret. It's not something that's just me. It's information that's out there, and there are some good videos on YouTube and other good resources out there available for you. So the other thing that we're doing this week is Chapter 5, right? So if we did Social Sciences 2 last time, right? Chapter 5 is the humanities, which is really my domain. I'm a humanist, right? So in Chapter 5, you should start to learn about some of the other disciplines that you might have considered part of a social science background, but which really lean more heavily towards an influence of the humanists. The humanists emerged in the early Renaissance, and you'll get more information about that in the chapter. Yeah. So the topic this week was submitting to journals, and we've covered a lot of this already. So if I'm going to submit to a journal, right? I need to find an appropriate call for papers. Most of these calls for papers are going to be joining panels or giving individual presentations at conferences. And you can usually tell which this is going to be as you go along. So as you go along, you see panel, roundtable, conference. Every once in a while you will come across something that says that they're an edited collection or a specific journal. You might even go directly to a journal's website and see if they have a call for papers out. See submissions. There's a style guide and editorial manager. Let's look at editorial manager. Okay, submitting. And they give you instructions on how to submit, what kinds of things they're looking for, book reviews and readers' reports. So it's not hard generally to figure out how to submit places. A lot of journals will ask you for specific things, and what you need to do is try and match those things as closely as possible. So if they ask for a 200 word abstract, then give them an abstract that's 200 words, right? That summarizes your whole paper. If they ask you to join a specific website and submit through that website, that's something you will probably be asked to do at some point. They may ask you to email it as an attachment. Make sure you use your professional email template. And these are all things that you can expect to do when you are submitting your work to a journal. And the reason that I mention submitting work to a journal at all is that it's something that you should be doing, right? So long in college and in undergrad, I didn't do anything with my work that I was producing for class. I took 192 undergraduate credits before I graduated, and really the papers didn't go anywhere. They had no point whatsoever. And I don't want that to be the fate for all the work that you're doing. I want you to get credit for the research that you do. And if you want credit for the research you do, especially you teachers out there, I know there's a lot of you, you need to publish it, or go to a conference and present about it, or deliver it at a roundtable, or give a talk, because people won't recognize your expertise if you haven't, right? So don't let these papers that you do in academia go to waste. I know nobody has told you this, right? Because They're afraid of how you'll represent the university, or they're afraid of, you might fail, or you might not be interested in academia, but go do it. The difference between you all and somebody who gets a head start in academia, gets published in academia before graduate school, is somebody told them along the way how to. That's it. The work that you do is worthy of publication. You just have to put it out there and get to work with an editor and publish it. That's it. So, when I show you how to submit to a journal, or when I show you how to find a CFP, that's because I think that you should be looking for those things. Now, in the past, I've granted extra credit for submitting your papers to a journal, or for submitting them to a conference. While I can't offer extra credit over the summer, I would say that it's a good idea to go ahead and submit your MRAD reports to a journal or to a conference. And if you include in your email the fact that you're going to submit to a conference or a journal, I will be more thorough in my feedback that I give you on your paper. So if that's something that you would like to do in the future, let me know, and I can give you more detailed feedback. I do also want to talk about the digital portfolio a little bit. So the digital portfolio coming up will give you the opportunity to revise any of your papers. So if I leave you some feedback and you're not sure how you're ever going to use it, right, you will have the opportunity to revise any of the papers that you don't like your grades on, and include those in the digital portfolio. Digital portfolio will be a website. You'll create the website, and it should contain all the information described in the assignment sheet. Yeah, we'll talk more about that as we go along. But today's sort of housekeeping. So, let me know if you have any questions. I can do my best to help. I'm always happy to answer emails. I'm happy that you all have sent me emails pretty steadily. Do watch a little bit more of the videos, because they do have information. Here I'm sort of rambling, so I don't know, whatever. Daily work this week. So obviously respond to the video. Describe to me in one of your writings a journal that you think that you would be interested in submitting to. Whether it's a specified journal like Shakespeare Quarterly, like I would love to be published in Shakespeare Quarterly. Just describe to me one journal that you've read a lot of in your research that you're like, someday I would like to be published in this one, and describe sort of what makes you feel that way. And then respond to the book chapter, and those three things. So, respond to the lecture, respond to the book chapter, tell me a journal that you would like to be published in and why. And that should take care of daily work. All right. If you have watched to the end of this video, you should include in your response to the lecture and gray. All right. Have a good day.